What's going on, everybody? We are talking about Dune today. Dune Awakening beta weekend is happening right now from May 9th to 12th. This is going to be everything you need to know according to the website. So we're going to go over this information for you guys so you would know. There's a couple of ways you can sign up, and they're still going to be sending out keys throughout this weekend. Even though I feel like it's a beta weekend, it seems like it's kind of short. The game does come out in June, but like 3 days for everybody to jump in and break the game doesn't seem like a very long time considering what's out. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Large scale beta weekend, all you need to know. Greetings, sleepers. The Dune Awakening large scale beta weekend on May 9th through 12th is almost here. Read on to discover all you need to know about us accessing the beta. 3 ways to increase your chance of getting into the beta: wishlist and request access on the Dune Awakening Steam page, sign up with your email on the official website, get one of the tens of thousands of beta codes during the Global LAN Party broadcast on May 10th, catch it on Twitch. Bonus, do all 3 to increase your chances. Beta sign up, it just asks for your email address and you'll sign up that way. And I don't think it counts for the closed betas that they had those signups for. So you have to sign up again for this beta for some reason. Start and end times. The beta will run from May 9th to May 12th. See the start and end times across time zones below. Start North America, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 5 a.m. in front of Pacific Standard Time. South America is 9 BRT, Europe is 1400, Asia is 2000 and 2100, and it's going to end at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on May 12th. That's a Monday, I believe. And what's in the beta? So it says get a taste of both spice and story, as the beta features the first 20 to 25 hours of the game and most of Act 1. Create your character, crash into Arrakis, and survive sandworms, sun, and roaming bandits alongside other players. Choose which school of the Imperium you will follow first, then craft a shelter, your first weapon, and sand bike, and venture deeper into the sands. Unlike previous betas, this one has no NDA, meaning you can share any info you want with friends or even stream the game for all to see. And I think the last one didn't have anything going on with it either. The closed beta they had that people were jumping in, there's a lot of information being shared there as well. So even though it says although previous betas, people were still sharing information and stuff that was going on in the last beta. So this one is like Dune Awakening, some of what you get to experience during the beta weekend. It's kind of showing you some screenshots here. The first 20 to 25 hours of gameplay representing early to mid game or to early mid game. You can build the CAM building set to kind of understand how building works in the game. We'll be able to see what this desert is going to look like and see what another desert is going to look like because it's Dune. So we got the Haga Basin South region and the Eastern and Western Vermilius Gap region. So we're going to see if there's any real difference between those two. There's going to be parts of the Act 1 of the story. We're going to be able to build a sand bike and potentially lose it to getting eaten by a sandworm. And then there's going to be some early mid-game combat, which I'm sure we're all going to have some kind of questions about because it's a beta and it's not like your typical game. It's still kind of like MMO-ish, but also survival-ish. So some of what you can experience at launch. So when the game comes out, we'll see mid to late game representing hundreds of hours. The full story available at launch, 9 more regions in the Haga Basin survival map, including Sheol, the Shield Wall, and the Udum, and many others. So the overland map where players travel to various locations across Arrakis will be in there. The Arakeen and Harko village hubs will be there for socialization and stuff. Ornithopters and buggies will also be in the full game. And then you can go deeper into the desert, a massive in-game desert where hundreds of players and factions vie for spice and loot. And the Coriolis Storm resets the map every week. I'm guessing that means that things will be found in different locations. I wonder if it will actually like reveal or hide things, like how deep does the sandstorm really go. The Lands Rod, where players help either the Atreides or the Harkonnen gain control of the console. The winner in each cycle gets to select new policies that impact everyone on the server belonging to that world. So there's some hardcore PvP stuff going on there. We have progression through the ranks of House Atreides and House Harkonnen, and faction-specific rewards like building sets, weapons, and armors. There's advanced combat with more weapons and gadgets, abilities, and complex enemies. Advanced social features like the exchange, where players can trade with players across all servers belonging to that world, and much more. The guys plan to have a lot of stuff going on in the full game. Hopefully it all works the way they want it to. For PC specs, we're looking at Windows 10, 64-bit or newer, Intel Core i5, or AMD Ryzen 3 1200, 16 gigs of RAM. They're claiming a 1060 6GB or a 5600 XT 6GB with 60 gigabytes available storage space is required, which is, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I think I might need to look at my hard drive space. Recommended Windows 10 64-bit or newer, and an Intel i7 10700K or Ryzen 5 2600X. Memory 16 gigs. The graphics card they're recommending a 3070 or a 6700 XT 12 gigabyte, and 75 gigabytes of available space. That's always kind of weird to me how like a minimum requirement is 60 gigabytes and then the higher recommended is more gigabytes than the minimum. Like, shouldn't it just be like a flat gigabyte rate? Like, I guess they're holding more textures or something on there. So you can pre-order it if you want to. That has like a 5-day early head start, which kind of sucks. But I think they're gonna do like new release servers also. So like people with the 5-day set will be on their own like 5-day head start server, which I don't think is good because that's splintering up the community a bit. And it's probably like a way to gate in people to make sure the servers don't overload on day one. But at the same time, being a game where being able to do things ahead of time or first is actually something that you want to do, would you really want to uh, jump in like later than everybody else? And that's kind of, I guess, part of the FOMO. But if they're doing the separate servers where you have like your actual start day servers versus the head start servers, then you're going to have people in the head start servers with a little bit more knowledge, for one, if they jump into the same day servers, or those head start servers are going to be empty. So it's an interesting thing. I wonder how it's going to work out in the end. Frequently asked questions: will my progress during the beta weekend carry over to launch? No, you will have to start fresh when the game launches. Head start begins June 5th and full launch is on June 10th. How does the server structure work in Dune Awakening? We recently released a blog post explaining this in detail. Please find it here. If it has a lot of information about the broader multiplayer mechanics and server structure at launch, and not everything is relevant to the beta weekend. Specifically for this beta weekend, this is what you need to know. When you first start playing, you pick a home server that belongs to a world consisting of many other servers. Your server will be home to hundreds of other players, with up to 40 of them playing concurrently. You can visit friends on other servers in the same world and do everything including building on your friends' guild's bases, but you cannot claim land. Which server should you pick? You can pick any server you want, but for optimal ping, you should pick one in the region closest to you. How many players can you support per server? Your home server is home to hundreds of players with up to 40 of them playing concurrently, something that's possible due to the ebb and flow of player populations throughout the day and across the game world. So it's kind of interesting that there, I guess, is like shards within a server, it seems like. So you have your server, and then each shard is going to have 40 players on it. Your home server represents one persistent instance of the Haga Basin map, a huge open world where players can fight, progress, claim land, and build bases. While not available during the beta weekend, at launch players will also have access to social hubs in the deep desert, locations where many more people can play concurrently. In these areas, you can meet hundreds of other players belonging to different Haga Basin servers in the same server world as yours. These areas either have none or more limited building options. So I guess when the game fully launches, you'll be able to see more than just 40 people online at once. It's important to us that players always have their base in their physical location they built it in, and that they have the same neighbors so they can build lasting relationships. We also want server performance to be good enough to have engaging vehicle movement and combat. That's what the Haga Basin, your home server, is for. These design principles mean that we may have situations where a server is full when someone tries to log in. If that happens, you enter a server queue. The term server queue is rarely used in positive context, but to us it's quality of life addition. Commonly, survival games don't offer this, and you are left having to wait and hope you are able to click fast enough when the slot opens up. By adding a server queue functionality, you can simply click once. I like that they decided to kind of PR that. Like people don't mind server queues. It's when there's stupid long server queues that people have an issue with. So people understand that a game can get bogged and down and be full, and just going, oh, server's full, can't enter, is lame, and being placed in a line for anything is a lot better than just not being able to do anything at all. However, when the line is like 2 hours, 3 hours long, then people start having kind of an issue. Some people will wait, but it's like, I'll just come back and play at a later date when it's less busy, or at a time where it's less busy. So how many players can you support for this beta weekend more than closed beta? Says we will have much more hardware for the beta weekend and launch than we ran on the closed beta. In the closed beta, we have intentionally invited a lot of people while artificially limiting hardware so that we could stress test our tech and ensure features such as server queues are functional for the beta weekend and launch. And we're asking what language is Dune Awakening localized in. So it says interface subtitle and all text is localized in French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Ukrainian, Russian, Turkish, simplified Chinese, and traditional Chinese. All voice dialogue is in English with localized subtitles. Please note that localization is not final in the beta weekend build. Expect localization bugs, for instance, where cinematics and subtitles don't always match, and some aspects such as the codecs are not localized yet. This will be finalized for a full launch. What emphasis does Dune Awakening put on combat? Combat is an important part of Dune Awakening. Our goal has always been to set a new benchmark for combat in open world. This is not Doom or Elden Ring. Combat is one element of a much larger and complex open world filled with varied gameplay mechanics such as base building vehicles, PvE, PvP systems, and large-scale multiplayer features. So they're saying don't expect some crazy polished combat with tight dodge and parry mechanics. We also believe combat in Dune Awakening brings something new and more elaborate than what you have seen before. It's also been important for us to stay true to the Dune IP with everything that entails, including shields, dart guns, slow blade, melee combat, and more. It offers a myriad of combat options, including range, melee abilities, spice, prescience, gadgets, and even vehicle combat. When you start, you pick an archetype, trooper, Bene Gesserit, Mentat, and Swordmaster, and each offers unique abilities and a progression system that will see you unlock more power over time. At launch, you can find trainers that allow you to start mixing and matching abilities across these archetypes. If you all know, guys, I'm not deep into the Dune lore, so some of the like this, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Bene Gesserit, Bene Gesserit. Let me know in the comments. Is this a PvE or PvP game? What you get to experience in the beta weekend is primarily PvE. Most of the Haga Basin map is PvE, with only small pockets of PvP enabled. At full launch, you will get access to the Deep Desert, a vast open area where hundreds of players can gather. Talked about that already. You can explore, progress, and build in the vast open world without fear of getting killed by other players. And when you're ready to sample the even more dangerous side, you can head into the Deep Desert to try your luck without having to worry about your base being raided and destroyed. And I guess it's kind of cool. It kind of offers a little bit of the both playstyle. For those that want to live more dangerously, you can go out there into the open world and do the dangerous stuff. And for those that just want to have a little safe haven, you can do that. Even the Deep Desert will have many options for PvE players, as will all the gameplay related to the Landsrod mechanic, where players help the two great houses rise to power. Our focus has been to have Dune Awakening offer something for both PvP and PvE players, a design principle that extends throughout the game, even the end game. It talks about the stories, most but not all of Act 1, and launch you to experience the rest of Act 1 and all of Act 2. So one of the questions is, when is Dune Awakening set? It says it takes place roughly around the same time as the first book on Arrakis, but in an alternate timeline where Paul Atreides was never born. Instead, Lady Jessica obeyed the instructions of the Bene Gesserit and had a daughter, and from that one event, history took a different direction. For instance, Duke Leto Atreides survived the attempt on his life and is now locked in the conflict with the Harkonnen over Arrakis and its precious spice. You will still visit many of the same locations and even meet some of the characters you know and love, and for Dune fans, we believe this setting provides a unique way to experience the IP. If I get killed by the sandworm, will I lose everything? Yes. The sandworms represent what is perhaps the ultimate danger on Arrakis. You must take care to ensure you don't end up as worm food. Never build in the open desert, stick to the so-called rock islands, and when traversing between them, make sure you move quickly and with care. Sandworms are drawn to movement in the open desert, and while there is a certain grace period involved, if you stay there too long, they will find you. Part of the fun is learning how to avoid them and manage the risk. Once you get to the Vermilius Gap, you'll start seeing spaceships crashing into the open desert. And these have loot right for the taking. Can you make it out there, salvage what you can, and make it back to safe ground before the sandworm comes? So you're talking about the open desert, so you have to go and get the loot, fight off invaders, and dodge sandworms. That's going to sound crazy. The first time you get killed by a sandworm, the penalties are milder. That's your chance to learn. And if there's one thing you need to do on Arrakis to survive, it's learning from your mistakes. In the beta weekend, we'll be able to craft a sand bike. At full launch, many more vehicles, ground car, ornithopters, vehicles with different modules. How much of the world will I get to experience? A small, solid slice. Will I be able to get a good feel for the game? They say you'll be able to get a good feel for this early game, getting close to mid game, but there's a ton of content and gameplay mechanics not in this beta. So we'll understand the story, survival, vehicle, and building mechanics. I guess this should be good enough to let you know if you want to continue playing it. Is there hope? Sometimes it's really just that late game that really pushes people off from wanting to continue playing a game. But from my understanding, people are still playing Age of Conan. I believe they did that one as well. And it has a pretty thriving community on there. So I'm kind of curious to see what Dune Awakening is gonna be like, how the community is gonna be. I didn't really get into Age of Conan. I know I tried the Conan MMO they had a while ago, but I was like, and I passed on that. But that was a long time ago. It was like super intensive on what I had as a system, so I couldn't even play it. And by the time it came out, I was already doing something else. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Are you trying to jump into the beta weekend? Again, there's the 3 ways you can do it. You can sign up on the wish list on the Steam page, wish list it, and then you request access on the Steam page, and you sign up with your email on the website, or try to go into the global LAN broadcast on Twitch, which they don't have, it looks like a schedule for right now. It just says FunCom. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.